Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. Now, I've personally lost over 100 pounds, and I've applied what I've learned from my own transformation journey to help my hometown clients lose over 35,000 pounds in just 5 years. Now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by delivering my best weekly tips, motivation, inspirational stories, and transformation strategies so that you can gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And the perfect time to start taking action is right now. So let's do this. This episode is sponsored by my friends at Four Sigmatic. I love these products. If you guys have not tried out their mushroom coffees and teas, you don't know what you're missing. I have been using their products for several months now, and I'll tell you what I'm using currently. I switch around. I have different jams with my Four Sigmatic routine. Right now, my jam is AM. I do a little cordyceps elixir for some stimulation, get my body going, get a little bit of energy going. Then midday, I do chaga. The chaga elixir has been shown to help support digestive system, immune system. And then at the end of the day, I usually have a reishi elixir. And I just love the chilled out vibes that come from that. It helps you sleep better. It also has some immune system support. And I'll tell you what, in the last couple of weeks, everybody at my fitness center has been sick. Flu, all right, puking, coming out both ends, gross, right? Same thing at my house. All, the last 2 weeks, everybody's been sick except for me. So, I can't claim anything, but all I know is that this stuff helps me have more energy during the day. I believe it's helping with my immune system support. It's helping my digestion, and it's helping me sleep better at night. So why the heck wouldn't you want to check that out? All right, so here's the deal. You go to foursigmatic.com. That's FOURSIGMATIC.com and enter the promo code MPM as in Million Pound Mission. All right, MPM, Million Pound Mission. That's going to save you 15%. And I get a sweet little kickback from them. They kick me back 10% just, because it's all out there in the open with me and you guys. We're homies, right? And so I appreciate that as well. This is a great way to support me and this show. A lot of people send me messages, how can I support the show? This is a great way to do it. I get a 10% kickback off anything you order using my promo code MPM on foursigmatic.com. Let's do this. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude. And this is episode number 110, how I gained and then lost over 100 pounds. This is going to be a good one. I know I say that about every episode, but I'm just jazzed about this, all right? I can't help it. I'm fired up. The show's going so well. You guys are out there, give me great feedback. I appreciate how much you're sharing the episodes out. It's amazing. I love that. Make sure you guys tag me if you share anything on social. Please tag me at transformationcoach.me. That way I can thank you for that. But things are really, really ramping up. And one thing that's popped up, which led to this episode, is that I know some of you are number crunchers out there, and you're like, well, Adam, you said you've been in the fitness game for 18 years. You've had your gym since 2009. Like, these numbers aren't adding up. Like, what's the deal? So I've never fully explained my weight gain. And then, I've dove into the weight loss, like the first episode number 1, I talked about it. It's more about the method rather than the actual process and the experience. So I thought this was a good time to sit down and really lay it all out there and tell you exactly how I ended up gaining that much weight, and then the decision I made to make that change, and then how I took it off. All right? So here we go. So back in, 1999, I was a senior in high school, 1999, and I played basketball. And my coach, at that time, I probably weighed like 180 pounds, maybe less than that. I don't know, around 180 pounds. Let's guesstimate there. And my coach wanted me to take a weightlifting class because our senior year, we were supposed to be one of the top teams in the state. We were going to be nationally ranked. And basketball is a big deal in Indiana. You know, I was a good athlete, and he wanted me to put on some muscle and really make. And there was a group of us, and I was like, no, man. Like I was way more interested in hanging out with girls than I was with lifting weights. Like as funny as that sounds now, for who I am now, it seems just kind of bizarre. But you know, the hormones are raging, and I was like, I need to hang out with females. I don't need to spend time messing around lifting weights. So, and I kind of the football coach was the one that ran the weightlifting program, the class. I thought he kind of had it out for me because I didn't play football, I played basketball. And so anyway, there were lots of amazing, really smart teenage decisions going on there. And so, but this led in a roundabout way to meeting somebody that would change my life forever. All right. So he's like, all right, well, you don't want to take the class. Like I don't want to take like ceramics class or something because there were more, like I can meet more girls there. That was the deal. Let's just be honest. And so I took ceramics, not weightlifting. He goes, well, I'm going to set you up at this gym, a local gym called the Iron Pit. And so the whole group of us went over and we walk in, and there stands Big Doug Ballard, who ended up becoming my mentor and just teaching me basically everything about everything with weightlifting and strength training and coaching people. An amazing individual. I'm going to have him on the show. I think I might save him for episode number 200. That'd be a special little interview. So the cat's out of the bag. I've already been thinking about that. So I've got to convince him to come on the show with me. So I got the bug. You know, Big Doug is somebody that is very passionate about helping people. He's very passionate about how the human body works and increasing performance. And he's just a hell of a good guy. And he just put that passion inside of us and said, hey, you know, this is something that can really help you as an athlete. And we all got hooked. Like we all loved it. So it all ended up working out. And we ended up working out and getting a lot stronger. And I just really fell in love with how it made my body feel, lifting weights. And it changed my path because I'm like, all right, I thought about maybe playing basketball at a smaller college, but I just fell in love with strength training, weightlifting. I was like, you know what? I want to explore this, and I want to, just go to my local Indiana University and just be a student and learn. I found out they had an exercise science program. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I got a lot of flack from my family. Like they didn't know what exercise science was for like college. They're like, what? You know, what are you doing? You need to go. Everybody's thinking, you know, business and things like that because I've always kind of had a business mind. I've got lots of funny stories about the little businesses I made up when I was a little kid. But we won't get into that today. Maybe another time. Ask me sometime, I'll tell you. So I decide, you know, I'm going to go to Indiana University. I'm going to be an exercise science major. I'm going to start competing in powerlifting because I loved being strong. And Big Doug competed in powerlifting. You know, he's competed in like every strength sport from sumo wrestling to Highland Games where you're throwing the telephone poles, the cabers, and the stones and strongman stuff and powerlifting. He was a national caliber, one of the best in our country. And again, I caught the bug and he mentored me. And I was not built like a powerlifter at all because I was, 6'3", and I weighed at that time probably 190 pounds. And he's like, all right, we got to get you up over 200 pounds because you're too skinny, you're too tall, and this is the only way we're going to get stronger. We have to add some muscle to your skinny frame. So I'm like, all right. So I started eating, and we finally get my body weight up over 200 pounds. So my freshman year in college, I competed in powerlifting at the 198-pound weight division. And it was really cool. I ended up setting a couple state records. I deadlifted and squatted over 500 pounds for the first time. I was just loving it. I was addicted to it. Great group of guys, great camaraderie. I'm in college and just loving life. All right, so it was going really well. And then my sophomore year in college, I decided again, I was competing against people that were over a foot shorter than me. And a lot of 5-foot guys competing in the 198-pound weight division. So I was like, I need to go up a weight division because, I'm at a leverage disadvantage. With powerlifting, with lifting weights, if you have really long arms, really long legs, it's further to move the bar when you bench press. That's further to stand up when you deadlift and squat. So I'm like, let's move up a division. So I add more weight. I eat. and I go up to 220 pounds. I still, could see abs, and I was very fit. And that's 220 pounds is a really good weight for my frame. And I competed well. I squatted over 600 pounds for the first time, and getting stronger. And just as a side note, as a caveat, I competed in drug tested powerlifting. So drug free, drug tested, very proud of that. And, that's not the case in all strength sports, but that's something that our whole team was very proud of. So that's something I'll just put out there. I compete well. I forgot to mention my freshman year, I ended up placing second in the nation in junior nationals in powerlifting. So pretty cool. That we move up to the 220 weight class, go to junior nationals again, place second. I'm like, all right, I need to move up another weight class. And it took some effort to eat. And this is where problems started to happen because, and I haven't really talked about this a whole lot, is like the food addiction for me started happening as I made this next move up my junior year, where food started to have a different type of control over me, and it was something that I started to get to the point where I would eat, I was eating whatever I could get my hands on, honestly, just to put on weight. And when I moved from 220 to 242, that next 20 pounds, that's when I started to not be so healthy. I started having a little bit of issues with like high blood pressure because I wasn't eating clean food. I was just eating a lot of food, high volumes of anything I could get my hands on. I was doing protein shakes and things like that, but it was like mixed with ice cream and weight gainer, and all this stuff just to move up. Lots of pasta and processed carbs and things like that. So that's when things started to shift for me, and food started to have a different kind of grip on me. So then really I placed second again, third year in a row, placed second in the nation in powerlifting. And but my weight kept going up. And this time it wasn't like a conscious decision, like, oh, we're going to move up another weight class. It just kept going up. So then my senior year, I competed at 275 pounds. So now I'm 30 pounds up, almost 100 pounds more than when I graduated high school. And, putting up big numbers. I ended up deadlifting. I think my top number in deadlift was 688 pounds. I bench pressed 451 pounds, and I squatted 661 pounds. And they're the weird poundage because they were all in kilos. So like 661 is 300 kilos. So again, placed second in the nation. I placed second in the nation all 4 years in college, which I'm proud of, but it was also a little frustrating. I placed second to different individuals also. It wasn't always the same person beat me. But then after college, I start working, and my goal was to be a strength coach. So as a strength coach, you don't really need to be in great shape. You need to be strong. You need to be able to teach other people and communicate to other people how to be strong and how to be fast. So I was like, all right, let's do this. And I started working with athletes, and I was working with, I had great connections I was in my hometown still with the high school. But my weight kept on just going up. I kept competing. At this point, I started competing in Highland Games, the Scottish Highland Games, which is a series of events like throwing the caber, or, people look at it as the telephone pole, the giant stones, the 56-pound weight over the bar, and the hammer and all this stuff. And you wear the kilt. I was doing the whole deal. And I ended up being one of the best people in the country at an amateur level. And I'm helping athletes, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm starting to make a little bit of money. But a couple years down the road, I found myself weighing 327 pounds. And I also kind of fell out of love with training the athletes because I realized there's a whole lot of ego involved. And there's money, but is it worth it? I would go to work really kind of hating what I was about to do. I love connecting with people. I love helping people. I've always loved that. But walking into that high school gym and be like, oh my God, I've got 50 freaking 16-year-old boys that, I would sit down and write up the best strength training workouts like ever. I'm convinced still, like, multiple state championships were there to be had if they just listened to me. But, being teenage boys, they went, they took my workouts. So I spent hours developing, and they'd go in the corner and do biceps curls and do some abs because, they had to get spring break ready, yo. So that was frustrating. And then the other side, trying to motivate female athletes. I learned a lot from the females, probably more so than the guys, which is kind of par for the course for my journey, whatever reason that is. But I learned about motivating females. It was fascinating. Like it was a different time. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was different than now, because now with females, strong is beautiful, strong is sexy. Like, they like to show off their muscles. That wasn't the case back when I was doing all this. They were scared to death of looking like a man. So if I'm like, you need to be squatting 100 pounds, and I put two, 25-pound plates on the bar, they wouldn't do it. But I could put five-pound plates on the bar on each side, same weight, not really tell them it's any different, and they would do it, no problem. So just learning about that psyche, and just that's when I really started thinking about the mental component of all this. That was the first little spark, and I learned a lot from my ladies. So, but it was just, I fell out of love with it. So I was at this crossroads of not really loving what I was doing for work, not really seeing a future there, working a ton of hours. I mean, I had clients, I had a wait list to get in. I would train from, morning to night every day, and I had a wait list of clients to get in. It was just jam-packed, one after the other, and, just enough room to use the bathroom and eat in between a couple times a day. And it's dark when I get there, dark when I leave. At the Iron Pit, hacking it out. So I remember the last Highland Games that I did. It was in Estes Park, Colorado. I was big dude. I was competing very well. I was at kind of the peak of my athletic career as far as strength sports go. Very strong, very athletic, but I didn't feel good. I was in that elevation, and I was like, this just doesn't feel good. I was getting winded walking up and down steps. I didn't like the way I looked. I was just kind of, I didn't, I was very strong, but, I was 327 pounds. It's hard to look good at 327 pounds and feel confident in how you look. So I made a decision. I had to make a decision soon of, all right, am I going to go pro as a Highland Games athlete? And, going pro is a big deal in any sport, but it's not like I'm going to make millions of dollars. It was like, going pro means you start getting sponsors, you get paid a little bit. Some people make a career out of it, but a lot more travel, a lot more focus, probably more gaining weight, because those guys are big, and you have to be able to use your weight and your strength to leverage against those implements that you're throwing for distance and for height. So, do I want to push my body weight up to 350, 375, 400 pounds to compete at the highest level? And a lot of those guys die. You see them dying, world's strongest man. So those guys die in their 20s, heart attacks. And so all these things are going through my mind, and I'm like, all right, I feel like shit. I look like shit. I'm not happy. Let's make some changes. And I left every bit of my Highland Games equipment in the hotel. I made that decision, and there was no turning back. So, and there's a lot of equipment. There's like shoes and gloves and all this stuff. I left it all there. I brought my kilt home with me because I like rocking the kilt on St. Patrick's Day. I got two kilts still, a green one, red one. I love it. So if you ever see me out on St. Patrick's Day, hit me up. We'll have a good time. So I come home with nothing but my kilt, and I started to sort things out. And that's where the story kicks in that you guys have heard before. All right, I started to realize that I needed to make some shifts with my own health. I started realizing that I needed to make some shifts with my business and the direction that I want to take. And it all started with me. I just started eating clean. There wasn't a paleo diet. There wasn't a keto diet. I mean, there was, but I didn't know what it was because I hadn't been focused on eating clean at all. At this point, I was just volume. Like, I need to eat 10,000 calories a day just to get my body weight up, and eat. Food addiction kicked in, and that did the rest. That took me all the way up to 327. So I knew that I needed to sweat. I knew that I needed to eat clean. And I just started doing that. And I started doing it consistently. That's, the amazing results formula I talk about. Like, I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. I was consistently eating clean. I was consistently working out. I was doing cardio for the first time ever, other than like basketball wind sprints and things like that. And it sucked. It was hard. I was sweating, puked a few times in there doing my cardio, my high intensity cardio. But I started learning a lot. I started feeling better, and people started complimenting me, and my confidence started to come up. I'm like, damn, this is great. So then I was hooked into a group of martial artists, and I started doing some Thai boxing. And this is when the UFC really just took off. So I'm like, cool, we're going to get into some mixed martial arts. We did some submission wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I started getting into that, and I started dropping more weight and doing some of that stuff. And that was very exciting. And I got connected with a group of people where some of them had some weight loss goals. I'm like, hey, let me show you, let me coach you through what I've been doing. And I've talked about this before too, but back in the day, I would always, as I started taking more weight loss clients, I would give them my diet that I was doing. The diet that I used to lose 100 pounds was just clean eating, like nothing fancy. Just like we eat lean meats, we eat vegetables, we eat fruits, we eat, low processed foods, and do that consistently. And, that was the deal. So I gave them all my diet, and I gave it to them for free. Nobody lost any weight because nobody followed it because it was free, until I started charging them. Then they all started losing weight. So I've talked about that before in a podcast before as well. But so I started taking on more weight loss clients, and I'm losing weight. And by this time I'm down, I'm under 300 pounds for sure. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I just knew it. Like, I woke up one morning, I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm passionate about. I started having all these ideas, and I formed this idea to create a boot camp. And I was like, I'm going to call it the Meltdown Fat Loss Boot Camp, because I'm going to run this commercial on a radio station like, hey, my name's Bob, and I had a meltdown, and I lost 50 pounds. Like, this whole thing, like, I woke up in the middle of the night, and this whole thing just plopped inside my brain region, and I ended up doing all of it. And I did that commercial, and I had all those testimonials, yes, it was goofy as hell, but it worked. And so that's my journey. Like, it took me, like, it wasn't losing 100 pounds. Like, that was a goal, but I wasn't obsessed with that. I just kept doing, I was obsessed with the fundamentals. I was obsessed with putting in the work. I was obsessed with the process and how I felt. And it wasn't like, I'm not there yet. I'm only 90 pounds. I got to lose 100. Like, I haven't even weighed myself legit in 3 years. Like, I have no idea what I weigh right now. I actually tried to weigh myself the other day, and my scale batteries are dead. I'm like, oh, that's a sign from the universe. Let's not worry about it. So it took me like 3-4 years to lose 100 pounds. And if I had to guess now, I'd say I'm down about 120 pounds. I'm a little bit over 200 if I had to guesstimate my weight right now. So that's how I did it. Like that, that's how I gained it. That's how I took it off. And, you guys have heard the losing the 100-pound part, so I'm not getting too deep into that. But it was just consistent effort, consistent clean eating, and getting inspired to help other people. That's where the switch was flipped. And I completely, I gave away all my athlete clients, and I turned the page, and I said, this is what I'm doing. And since then, it's been full blast, helping adults reclaim their health, whether it's personal training or my boot camp or group fitness classes, or now, I'm finding people online, online clients, coaching online programs, this podcast. That's what the Million Pound Mission is all about. It's about you guys. It's about me helping you guys. And I feel like this is my life's greatest work. And that's pretty cool. And I love that I'm in it. And I love that you're in it with me. And we're doing this together. So it's very exciting. The mojo we have right now is strong, my friends. It's strong. And I always appreciate you guys, passing this along and sharing it out. So if you feel like you got anything out of this, I'd love for you to share it with a friend or put it on your favorite social media. And there's a lot of people out there that I want to phrase this in the right way. I've heard people that even say this to my face. Oh, your weight loss, that doesn't count because you were strong, or you put it on purpose and then you took it off because I was competing in a sport where weight classes were involved. But what you have to understand is that at first I put it on purpose. Like, yeah, I need to gain 20 pounds to move up a weight class. And that, yes, that is different than somebody that has, like their parents abused them and they emotionally ate because of that. Like, that's a different situation. But losing 100 pounds is losing 100 pounds, legit. That took work. That took focus. That took consistency. That took determination. I busted my ass, and I continue to do so, day in and day out. So, let the haters hate. That happens, and it's kind of a dick thing to say to somebody like me that's just trying to go out there and help other people. But I'm okay with it. I get it. There's insecurities out there. People are dealing with their own shit, and that's okay. So I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm proud of everything I did as a strength athlete. I'm proud of overcoming that food addiction and being able to reclaim control over that, because it was legit an issue. It was an issue for me. So I know what it's like when you open up a bag of chips and you're like, oh, I'll just have a bowl. No, I'll crush the whole thing. Still will. So that's why I don't do it. I've got control over it. That's why I don't drink. I've got an addictive personality. I'd rather be addicted to exercise and addicted to podcasting and addicted to checking my podcasting stats than, try to dabble with having wine, every night and just try to have one glass, because I'm afraid where that goes. I'm afraid where that leads me. So I understand what I'm about. I understand what I need to be doing. I understand how my mind works. And that's a part of the process. I've learned a lot in gaining and losing over 100 pounds. There's a lot of knowledge to be had there. And I feel like I've soaked it up and we're all moving in the right direction. And hopefully you guys feel like you're, I feel like I'm a better person because I walked in that gym and I met a guy like Big Doug Ballard. And I hope that you guys feel a similar way when you press play. And maybe this is the first podcast you've ever listened to. And if so, welcome. Welcome to the Million Pound Mission, right? You're a part of this now. And I hope that you feel like, okay, I've just plugged into somebody that's a little bit different. He's a regular guy. I'm not, I don't make any money off the podcast. Like, it hasn't started to produce income yet, but I know that it will. I'm confident that my hand is fully in the dirt. My nose is against the grindstone. I don't even know if that's the right terminology. I don't know. But I know that it's going to pay off. I know that making a difference, I know that creating 1 million pounds of healthy results across the world, that's a game changer for enough people that good things will happen out of that. And that's why I'm going to encourage you guys, as always, we got to get out there. We got to own it every meal, every workout, every day. I'll see you on the next episode, my friends. Wait just a second there, good looking. I got something else to tell you about before you head out. I'm psyched. We just launched our Patreon page, patreon.com/Million Pound Mission. That's spelled Patreon, patreon.com/Million Pound Mission. We are cranking in there. And the goal of our Patreon page is to raise some funds so that I can hire 1 or 2 people to become support partners with the podcast so that I can focus more on creating content, connect with you guys, coaching with you guys, helping you more, and doing less of the back end stuff. All right, very important. I'd love to connect with you guys, and I need some help to be able to do that. I got to free up some time. With the Patreon page, you're going to have the option of making a monthly donation. If you enter at the $6 per month or higher, you get invited to my Million Pound Mission Live Facebook group. And inside that Facebook group, I'm going live with follow-along workouts, which you can make requests for, by the way. I am going live with question and answer sessions. You can fire away with any question. I'm going to deliver an answer. And then you also get live look-ins with the Million Pound Mission podcast, where you get podcasts way in advance of everybody else. So it's a cool way to connect. It's an awesome way for you to get advanced information with the podcast. And it's just a great way. A lot of people ask me about supporting the show, and this is probably the #1 way to do it right now. So check us out at patreon.com/Million Pound Mission. And I'm very, very thankful for your support. Thank you, my friends.